The Cincinnati Bengals fall to the Cleveland Browns 32-13 on prime time. The Bengals now move to 4-3 on the year, and the Browns are 4-4 on the year, and the Browns now move to 3-5. Browns get the win. Bengals take the loss here, Aaron. Not a pretty performance from the Bengals offense here. First game without Jamar Chase, so they will be without Jamar Chase for a little bit. What were your impressions of the Bengals here tonight?
Well, first of all, it wasn't just the Bengals offense. The Bengals defense didn't play great either. They gave up almost 500 yards of offense. But look, this is what I don't want to hear today or tonight or right after the game or even tomorrow or a week from now. I don't want to hear the Bengals fans or the analysts talking about, oh, they really missed Jamar Chase. Stop. We get it. Jamar Chase is great. Jamar Chase is a game-changing wide receiver. He's excellent. But just a week ago or 2 weeks ago, we were talking about T. Higgins can go and be number one for any team in the NFL. Tyler Boyd is normally a number 2 for any team in the NFL, and he's the number 3 on Cincinnati. Joe Burrow is supposed to be elite. And I'm so mad because I believe last week I just gave Joe Burrow his flowers. I said it was the best I had seen him play against the Atlanta Falcons, and I said, finally, that's the franchise quarterback I saw. And what does he do? He follows it up with this dud of a performance. Today, he wasn't the franchise quarterback. He wasn't the guy that I've seen that can overcome a lack of an offensive line and overcome missing his number 1 wide receiver. This is what we talk about when we talk about franchise quarterbacks. Franchise quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes loses Tyreek Hill. What does he do? Somehow he gets better. That's a game changer. That's somebody that's different. That's the franchise quarterback that I'm talking about that I told everybody I didn't see from Burrow yet until last week. And then he came back and he let me down this week. That offense was bad. The offensive line was bad. The running game was non-existent. Joe Burrow made mistakes. Joe Burrow was running for his life. Joe Burrow couldn't overcome those deficiencies on that offensive line, the running game, or Jamar Chase. They took a huge step backwards tonight, a huge step backwards.
Yeah. And I did think about that while I was watching the game. I was like, damn, man, we just gave all the credit in the world to the Bengals last week. They've been playing well. They've been looking good. And you're right. It is not just Jamar Chase that's the problem, at least in this game. The defense played bad. How much of that there was no Eli Apple in this game?
Well, first of all, Eli Apple was already benched. I don't know if anybody knows that because it hasn't been talked about. He was replaced by Cam Taylor-Britt in the starting lineup. So he was already filling in as a reserve role the last couple of games. He had already lost that job. Like I said he would, because he's not good. He's never been good. Cam Taylor-Britt had already started to take that job, and he's a rookie. So, and then you lose so you don't have Eli Apple in this game. During the game, they lost Chidobe Awuzie. So they're banged up in that secondary. You saw Dax Hill. You saw Cam Taylor-Britt. They got kind of exposed. Amari Cooper put on a route running clinic against them, and they got burned by Jacoby Brissett. Not Deshaun Watson, Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett, a guy that we say is a game manager, decided to come in and do more than manage a game. He 17 of 22, 278 yards and a touchdown, no interceptions, 133.7 quarterback rating. That's a quarterback that looked like he was better than Joe Burrow. Yes, maybe he was protected a little bit better, but there was pressure at times. He used his legs. He got out of the pocket. He made deep throws down the field. What I saw from Cleveland was a complete football game. Running the football, throwing the football, good defense. From Cincinnati, I honestly can't point to one thing and say, oh, they did that really well. Even their special teams, who we all laud at Evan McPherson, missed kicks, which is unlike him. So this was just you want to attribute to a short week? Sure. On the road against a division opponent? Great. You might lose the way they looked, just wasn't it, man. They took a huge step back.
Yeah, I agree. They did take a huge step back in this game, and it's I don't want to say it's unfortunate because I mean it is what it is. But I want to talk about the Browns here specifically for a moment, because at the beginning of the season, the story was there. We talked about it many times on our shows. You have to just hold on until you get Deshaun Watson back. Jacoby Brissett just has to be able to find ways to get them wins. And at 3-5 now, at 3-5, my voice cracking. They're now heading into a bye. They come out and play Miami, and they play Buffalo. Is 3 wins enough? Because obviously, Miami, Buffalo, those are going to be tough games for them to win. Then Tampa, and then they get Houston with Watson back. Is 3 wins enough for this team to say, okay, Watson can come back and maybe help this team get into a playoff spot?
No. I don't think so. I think they need to win one of these next 3 games. I think they have to win one of the next 3 games to, because then you're asking them to go on a deep run, right? You're asking them basically to win out from week 13 to week 18. I said they would lose 1 game during that time, and I thought that would be the Baltimore game. So if you look at that and you say, okay, they lose the Baltimore game. If they lose all 3 games at over the next 3 weeks, then what are you looking at? You're looking at 3-8.
Yeah.
And if you lose 1 more, like I said, down the stretch, then you're losing 9 games and you're 8-9, and I don't think that's good enough. So I think they have to win one of those games, get to 4-7 by the time you go get Deshaun Watson back week 13. And if you're 4-7, you have a chance. If you win out, you go 10-7. If you lose 1, you go 9-8. And I think 9-8 could get you in the postseason. If you look at them now, they're only 2 games back in the loss column of that last playoff spot, and it's really early to start doing that. But you want to stay within those 1 or 2 games. You start getting to 3 and 4 games back, it's just too much in the NFL to overcome.
Is that where we're at right now? Is this Baltimore's division? Are we kind of, because we're going to talk about that. I do want to talk about that trade here because we are live, and I know we're going to go through our recap.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel the need that we do have to talk about that trade. But before we do that, is it Baltimore's division like that?
I think it's always been Baltimore's division. I know people reacted, and they had a stretch where they didn't play that well, but they won some games, and they've been kind of just right there. I think it's always been Baltimore's division. I thought they're clearly the best team in this division when you look at them on paper, when you look at them from an electric standpoint of the quarterback position and their ability to do things multiple on offense and defense. And I've always thought it was Baltimore's division to lose. Cincinnati got hot for a minute, but like I said, there's some issues with the Cincinnati Bengals that need to be addressed, that need to be fixed. That offensive line play showed its ugly head again today. And you can't play that kind of football and expect to win. And then we're having the conversations all over again about that secondary and how good is that secondary. And if you're relying on guys like Dax Hill and Cam Taylor-Britt as rookies to come in and be the difference, I think you're going to be in trouble going down the stretch. So there's still some question marks on Cincinnati. I still think they're a good team. I still think obviously they're probably a playoff team, but they did take a huge step back this week after I put them on a pedestal last week, gave them a high ranking in my power rankings, talked about Joe Burrow. And this is why, Bengals fans, because you always turn back into the Bengals.
Yeah, it is that we gave them their flowers. We thought that they would be not special, but we were giving them their credit. And then they do this. They come out and lay a dud on Monday Night Football in prime time when the world is watching. They let us down 32-13 to the Browns. Take a look at the AFC North standings now. The Ravens 5-3, the Bengals 4-4, Browns 3-5, and the Steelers sitting at last with just 2 wins. It's not a, like, we can talk about how this is Baltimore's division to win. But it's a tight race. 1 win separates Baltimore and Cincinnati, and then 2 wins separate Cleveland. I don't think we're talking about Cleveland in the light of being able to push for this division, but if they can steal out some of those wins against maybe Tampa and surprise us against Miami, they're at Miami, so that's going to be a tough one.
Well, either way, Baltimore. The good thing about Baltimore situation is they've already beat both Cincinnati and Cleveland.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
They really are 2 games ahead, or at least a game and a half at this point, because they own the tiebreaker over both of them as it stands right now. If one of those teams won a shot at any kind of tiebreaker with Baltimore, they have to win that next game against them, or they're pretty much going to be 2.5 to 3 games back. So Baltimore's sitting in a good spot right now. Cleveland's in a good spot if you think about it compared to Cincinnati, getting this win against Cincinnati. If they can pull out one of these next couple of games, maybe they get 2. just on some lucky stuff. And then, Deshaun Watson comes back week 13. And if he comes back the way he was in the past, they got a shot to make a nice run down the stretch.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Who knows? I mean, this is
by the way, if you're watching right now and you're trick-or-treating, you don't have to look at us. We're not the best people to look at. Well, I am, but I don't know about Vinny. But anyways, put us in your pocket, throw some AirPods in your ear, and listen to us while you're trick-or-treating with your kids.
Whoa. First of all, that's not a thing. Don't just throw us in your pocket, throw on some AirPods.
Yeah.
Throw us in your pocket. Get a speaker going. Bump up the speaker. Play us out loud so the world can listen to our greatness. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that works.
Don't be selfish, okay? Don't be selfish. Let the world know that we are here, that we're taking over the world, and we are the best football show on the planet.